Hey everybody, this your boy Jamal heading to work bright and early. The sun is out kicking. And as you can see, I got on my conservative grounds coffee shirt. This is Blue Ridge, Georgia. And of course, there's another conservative grounds in St. Petersburg, Florida. In St. Petersburg, Florida, you got conservative grounds and you got one Blue Ridge, Georgia, conservative grounds. Everybody, what we saw yesterday in that stand was a downright disgrace. There is no way no conservative in America, Trump supporter in America, can look at Democrats as nothing but the enemy. Nothing but the enemy. You want to know why January 6th happened? It's because what was shown yesterday in court. They threatened a former Trump associate, Michael Cohen, someone who was friends with Trump. Threatened him to take his family, lock him up, and he did whatever he could. He lied, did whatever he could to keep his family from being destroyed by liberals. And it showed yesterday. This man yesterday admitted on the stand in the court. He stole money, embezzled money. He lied repeatedly. He tried to get President Trump involved in stuff President Trump didn't even know about. What we saw yesterday, and a lot of conservatives may disagree with me, a lot of Trump supporters may disagree with me, a man that the federal government leaned on so hard, threatening to destroy everything in his family, that he was willing to lie and do whatever. And they put him on the stand because it was New York City. And being it was New York City, they figured, hey, New York could convict him for anything. New York will convict him for anything. And being that New York, oh, they're liberals. They're still banking. There are people who are going to say, regardless, we get a chance to convict Donald Trump because we don't like him. This is why we had January 6th. This is why Republicans, conservative Trump supporters, we will never accept anything other than victory, because this type of stuff is happening, and not one liberal Democrat, not one CNN, not one MSNBC say, you know what, this case is wrong. The judge, who is a Democrat operative, the judge, his daughter raises money, millions off Republicans. She literally raised millions in a fundraiser off this case. The judge's daughter. But nobody's saying it's wrong. People like The View, nobody's saying it's wrong. This is why we have the problems we have in America and the violence we're having in America. You want to know why Americans get more violent toward each other? Because Americans simply won't tell the truth, especially Democrats. You don't tell the truth. You don't say, you know what, this is wrong. Trump shouldn't be on trial. I don't like Trump, but he shouldn't be on trial for this. This is wrong. But you can't say that, because if you say that, then you have to say, oh, have we been wrong to Donald Trump? And it doesn't matter. See, I'm going to talk about this real quick. It's going to be a minute. Black folk have depended for years on an unequal justice system. Black people depend on an unequal justice system. Look at what happens when a white boy fights a black boy and beat him up. Black folk come out like a bunch of pack of hyenas and wolves and attack that white boy, so that white boy can't beat that black boy one-on-one. That's okay. You don't hear convictions. But if white kids do that to a black kid, it's racism, investigation got to come, we need the federal government and all this. That's what black people have depended on. If it wasn't for the federal government stepping in to save our butts, we would have been in a lot of trouble a long time ago, especially with all this crime. Can you imagine white folk from the 50s and the 60s dealing with all this crime in New York, dealing with all this crime and stuff black folk been doing? It would have never happened. Black folk would have never did it. But we know if we do something, we can always run and cry to the federal government, and the federal government will back us up. Ahmaud Arbery was not a murderer. Ahmaud Arbery tried to grab somebody's front end of a shotgun. He got shot. That's just self-defense. He got shot. But we turned it into racism because the people who was white stopped them from breaking in houses. That's what's going on. And a lot of white people, if you hear them, people say, yeah, white people scary because they can't use racism. No, white people ain't scary because they can't use racism. White people, if you listen to them, they'll say it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. What do they mean it's not worth it? They don't want to lose their financial stuff for fighting back and pushing back, so they let black people go, okay, you know, say whatever, do whatever. That's not victory. That's not victory, black folk. And black folk, let me say this. We could have had what we wanted if we would have just been reasonable. Tell me why we don't have Marcus Garvey High School, Malcolm X Freeway, and all these things deep in the South. Because you know what? You went after trying to tear down statues and tear down flags instead of saying, hey, you know what? You got this to Robert E. Lee. Hey, can you make us a monument to Malcolm X? Can you make us a monument to Nat Turner? Do you know how many white folk would have sat there and said, yeah, okay, fine. Leave our statues alone. Okay, fine. Black folk, can you imagine if you voted 30% Republican? If the black community voted 30% Republican, our lives would have been so much better, so much easier. Because then when Republicans get in, they got to protect that 30% vote, so they want to listen to us. Even some of the stuff that we like, oh, that's stupid. But they would have listened to it and did it. Why? Because we made our vote important. Vote 90% Democrat. What Republican in this world gonna do what black folk won't? But you expect Republicans to do for you what you should do for all citizens. No politician does for all citizens. None. Democrats show don't. But these are things black folk need to think about. Why is our vote has been devalued? Because you threw 90% behind people. And then you expect the 10% to do for you. Well, 10% of me, I don't want reparations. George Floyd was a crackhead. I don't care about George Floyd. I don't care about Ahmaud Arbery. I don't care about that boy in Memphis, Tennessee, who sat there and tried to fight the police and laid the police on a high-speed chase and shooting out the window, and they whooped his hind part. I don't care about him. But you do. So your voice would have been heard. So if you depended on me to take up for you, it's not gonna happen. But those are the things that's going on, America. I'll talk to you later.